Hey, what's up everybody? I just got done recording a bunch of video for our new business bootstrap accelerator, incubator, I don't know, name subject to change. And I'm getting down ready to do my edit, and I thought would talk to you guys a little bit about color correction and when you do it and how to do it, because I do it different than most people or the way most people will teach it, simply because I'm a content creator and not a filmmaker. And most of the lessons in teaching that that will talk about how to edit will tell you do all of your cuts first, and then come and do your color correction, and then after your color correction is done, you do your audio. I do it a little bit different than that, and let me show you why. So here we've got just a cut of me doing a heads-up camera. This is the introduction video, and you'll see that I've already just imported my audio and synced that audio up. So I have a main source that comes out of the camera with my Rode Wireless Go 2, and then I have another backup audio that I use as well, just to make sure that that track is clean and I don't have any problems. I hate recording twice. And you'll see I haven't made any edits. You can see big dead spaces where I made mistakes and had to go back. But the reason that I don't do my edits first is because I'm not dealing, as I said, with multiple cuts from different angles and cameras. I'm not dealing with different audio sources or stuff on different days at different locations. It's all just right here. And so when I come in, before I do anything else, is I immediately go to the color correction page and I start working on my color correction. Now let me explain what we're looking at here for those of you who are new. I'm in DaVinci Resolve. This is a free software. Nothing that I'm going to show you costs any money. You can go download it for free. But what I'm going to focus on first is just looking at my waveform here. And I can see anything that's above this top line at about 100 or 1,000, I guess it's here, is blown out, meaning I have some stuff back here in the color that's completely blown out. There's no information there. And then of course anything below the 0 line is completely black and you can't see anything there at all. And so the way I like to start out my correction is to come over here to this little wheel thing and to look at, I'm going to grab my shadows, midtones, and highlights. And if you don't see that, it's probably because you're on this little circle here rather than this circle here. Just click on that one and it'll show shadows, midtones, and highlights. And the first thing I want to do is I see that at the very top here I have some clipping. So I'm going to grab my highlight wheel and I'm just going to bring that down until those highlights have been recovered. And it's nice, I can get a little bit of recovery here. Just because they're blown out doesn't mean I can't recapture some of that. And now you'll see that, and again, trust the waveforms, don't trust your eye will lie to you. The computer screens are all different, trust the waveform. And as you look on here, now I see that my blacks are touching, my whites are touching, and the only difference is over here in the blues, I'm not quite as blue, I'm a little bit more green and red. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up here to my color temperature and I'm gonna play with this a little bit and just see if I can maybe adjust this just a little. You see how that's just ever so slightly adjusting, and we bring that blue more in line with the red and the green, and now everything is kind of right. Now that is our base color correction. That's all we're going to do that's all I'm going to do for right now. Again, this isn't a Hollywood production. I just need it to look good. I need to give it I don't want I don't want a super cinematic look for this film or anything like that. I just want it to look good. So this is going to be good for the base. Now, the next thing I want to do is create a second node. Now, if you're not familiar with DaVinci Resolve, nodes can be a complex subject. They don't have to be, they just sometimes are. But I like to break up my color correction into separate nodes. And so the next thing I'm going to do is hit Option S on my keyboard, and that's just going to pop open another node. Now, the original color correction was done on this node. So if I shut that off and turn it back on, you'll see that's the original, a little bit brighter, and then see how it kind of just dulls this down a little bit, brings back some of those highlights. The next thing I want to do here is start to add a little bit of a different grade, maybe boosting the midtones, changing the colors, making some colors pop, just to give it a little brighter feel. And so what I'm going to do here is first thing I'm going to bring my midtones up, okay? I'll bring those up a little bit so that those are a little bit brighter. I'm actually going to bring my blacks down. I'm going to crush those a little bit so that I've got Those are just a little bit darker, and I think I'm gonna bring those highlights back up just a hair, just to give it a little brighter feel. Bring them right up to that 100 line. And then again, if I shut those off and turn it back on, you see how my shirt, which was just a little bit on the washed out side, now how that pop of color comes back in. All I did was just crush those blacks a little bit. Then I'm gonna come up to my contrast, which in this one is hue, saturation, contrast right here, and I'm gonna bring in some contrast. Now, a lot of people, when they're trying to put color in, they wanna move immediately to saturation or to hue or something like that to try and, or to vibrance in order to push that color up. Oftentimes, all your film footage needs is just to add a little bit of contrast, and that contrast will naturally pull out some of those colors. So don't go right to saturation boost or vibrance boost. Focus first on getting your contrast correct. And then secondly, I'll play with this pivot a little bit. And what the pivot will do is it kind of moves this mid-tone area and brightens up or dims that a little bit as well. And I'm just gonna play with it. So you see how if I bring it up here, it washes everything out. That doesn't look very good. So I'm gonna do is just bring it down here until I get just a little bit more of what I'm looking for. Not a ton, oh, sorry, let's not do that. Let's do this. Boom, boom, just a little bit. Yeah, just a hair. Just playing with that just a hair. Now, I'm also wanna look at this, and this is completely subjective. But when I look at this, it looks a little bit on the blue side. Now, that may be something that you're looking for, but in the event that you're not, what you can come over back here is to our temperature, and we can just warm it up a little bit. And what I typically like to do is go too far, so you can see that's very much too yellow, and then just bring it back to something that feels a little bit more natural, okay? The next thing I'm gonna do is just create one more node, which is the last one. So we do Command S, that's gonna create a new node for us. And I'm gonna come in here to my little curves area. And this was really scary for me to play with at first, but nowadays it's really not that complicated. And I'm just gonna again, kind of play with some of these highlights. Maybe bring those highlights up a little bit, back to kind of where they were before. Again, I'm feeling like it's a little too yellow here, so I'm gonna go back to my last node where we had played with the temperature, and I'm gonna cool it back off just a little bit, okay? Again, nothing much, just little movements, man, little changes that help. Maybe I wanna go ahead and grab and create a little S curve here. We may not like that. Again, I don't wanna go overboard with it. I'm not looking for anything crazy, but maybe just a little pop here. Again, if we're washing out this light back here, that's okay, because it's just a light. Just tiny, tiny fractions of movements here, okay? And then, yeah, I'm really liking that. So again, if I come back here and I shut it off and show you before and after, you can see how nice little bit of pop of color here. Now, contrast may just be a little too much. So maybe we come back here, we go back to our contrast, okay? Grab our contrast, and maybe we just pull a little bit of that contrast out, okay? And again, Option D to shut off. Give me just a little different color. Now you can see, as we play through, nice, clean look without a whole lot. Now I could do more with this. I could add in a vignette, which might be nice to do, but I'm gonna be having some jump cuts that'll be happening inside of this as I do my edit. And what I'll probably do is add the vignette to those jump cuts after I do that, because again, I don't want the vignette to go away when I do the jump cut. But guys, that's it. Just a basic color correction, something very simple that any one of you can do to just bring back some of that, or accentuate some of that color, some of that excitement in your footage. It just looks a little bit more professional, and it doesn't take anything big. Little steps are better than big steps. So anyway, hope that helps, and talk to you guys soon.